Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swam Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vachaline Nivasisha Sunyavadi Pashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Yes, great. Hare Krishna. So let me just check the purples. Okay. Okay. Would someone like to begin? Reading.
I can have a go.
Yes, great.
Um,
Go ahead.
Chapter 14, The Three Modes of Material Nature. Text 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuyaha Pravakshami Jnanam Uttamam Yajnatve Punai Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Purport. From the 7th chapter to the end of the 12th chapter, Sri Krishna in detail reveals the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the Lord himself is further enlightening Arjuna. If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from material entanglement. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in the material world. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains what those modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other chapters. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attained perfection and transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other processes of knowledge, thus far explained. And knowing this, many attain perfection. Thus it is expected that one who understands this 14th chapter will attain perfection.
Okay, thank you. So there's quite a bit in this purple. Before I begin to highlight some specific points, is there any specific observations that anyone made or questions here? It brings up some questions.
I wanted to know about if one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation.
Yeah.
I want to understand that more. I mean, what philosophical speculation? Normally, we're not supposed to be speculating.
Yeah. That's well spotted. So, but we're not meant to be speculating. But you noticed in front of speculating is philosophical speculation. So what it means discussion of different sastra and a coming to a conclusion. It doesn't mean like an atheistic type of speculation that's not based on sastra. So therefore, in understanding this, by coming to we are hope to come to a specific conclusion through logical inference. So that's what it means. It doesn't mean non-theistic speculation. It means you're discussing. Means you're discussing what scripture says. So, but it is interesting because we are often, because when we hear the word speculation, then that's not something that we do. We actually accept the authority of Shastra. So, yeah, if one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. So that is what is hoped. And that's what Prabhupada says at the end of the purport as well, is that by studying this chapter, one, what do you say? One will attain perfection.
Perfection. And he will come to an understanding of devotional
Yeah.
service. So it's philosophical chapter.
It is. Well, the Bhagavad Gita is philosophical, and this one
Yes.
is
More so.
philosophical as well. But there's more interesting statements in this beginning purport. Anyone can perhaps pick out some other interesting, questionable statements.
I also like by understanding this knowledge, various sages attain perfection. So because it's three modes of material nature, by understanding how we can work with that, we can make spiritual progress.
Yeah, that's one of the main points that we wanted to bring out here, because the modes of material nature are the material world. So it's speaking about matter. It's speaking about the constitution of the material world. Now, how can that give liberation? How can something material give liberation? Like what is screen? Yeah, like this sentence here. I'm going to highlight it here. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality of God explains what those modes are. Okay, that's clear. Well, it will be clear. How they act, that will be interesting, and how they
bind.
But at this point, how they give liberation. How can the modes give liberation? Well, actually liberation is a sign of being not influenced by the modes of material nature. So how can they give liberation?
Is that through understanding the philosophy?
Yeah.
What he's going to explain.
Yes.
In the chapter.
It means by understanding the modes, and specifically by understanding the mode of goodness, then we choose as sadhakas to actually act in the mode of goodness. So it's from the mode of goodness that we have the possibility of entering into the spiritual atmosphere, Suddha-sattva. In other words, we cannot do it by the mode of ignorance and mode of passion. So that much is incumbent upon us to learn what are the symptoms of these modes of material nature. My Guru Maharaj, many years ago, perhaps 20 years ago, he gave a very enlightening seminar on this chapter. He gave it at our temple, he gave it at Bhaktivedanta Mana and other places as well. And this is what he was highlighting. So, in other words, simply put, if we understand, like here, now in this chapter, how they act, what is their nature? So if we understand what is the nature of ignorance, what is the nature of passion, and how they act, once we understand it, we can then avoid it. That's the point that's being made. If we can understand the differentiation and the symptoms of ignorance and passion, then we can avoid it. It's just a case of being educated. I remember now my Guru Maharaj gave the example, just as you see a red light, then you know you should stop. Well, at least in most countries. You know you should stop. So it's the same if you see something, a food or type of music or place which is in a mode of ignorance, then you know it's not going to be very conducive for us, because we may well be affected by that atmosphere or by that food. So therefore, we avoid it. So it makes very interesting. And also this discussion of the three modes, although this is chapter 14, it does continue throughout. It does continue for the rest of the Bhagavad Gita's chapters to a one degree or another. So yeah, that's the second point. And there's a third point which I was going to bring out. Can anyone perhaps identify that? Quite a surprising statement. Let me try and find it now. Yeah, so here, this The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to knowledge given so far in other chapters. Now that's quite interesting because we have, first chapter we know the observing the armies, then chapter 2. That's the summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. It's one of the next to chapter 18. It's the longest chapter, and we know there's so many wonderful slokas. There's so many wonderful topics in there, especially about Atma Tattva, about knowledge of the soul. Dehinosmi nitaha dehi is there, also Matra Spasas to Kunti, and so many verses. Then we have Karma Yoga. Okay, Karma Yoga means work in relationship to Krishna. Then transcendental knowledge. Yada yada hi dhammasya glani bhavati bharata. All the knowledge about why Krishna descends, etc. Then we have action in Krishna consciousness, etc. Dhyana yoga, knowledge of the absolute, attaining the supreme, the most confidential knowledge, the opulence of the absolute, etc. And the universal form. Then we have devotional service. Then we just read nature, the enjoying consciousness. But this chapter is supposed to be the best. It is
Interesting.
superior. Can anyone say why that? Why is it being said that this is the best so far?
Because it's going to explain it in a very better way, as it
Yeah, you
says.
could say that. It's going to explain it in. You could say, yeah, that's a good way to explain it. It's going to make it. It's going to bring it right down to earth for us.
Yeah.
It's going to really explain in detail about the material world. But
So
also,
if you don't understand what we've done so far, this will make us understand.
yeah,
It's good.
very good point. Yeah.
To me, I was thinking the other old chapters are Krishna is telling you, giving you knowledge, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, everything about yourself and nature and, you, Krishna, material nature. But now here, our every action has a reaction. And our coming back to cycle of birth, death, old age and diseases, all because of our actions.
Yeah. Actions in the modes of material nature.
Yes. So now Krishna is telling us what the material modes are, how you can overcome. Krishna says eventually that by surrender to me, you can overcome these modes, But you understand in what, it makes me understand in what mode I am at sometimes. When you, when you're doing service or something, somebody's really kind of winding you up, you have to really pull yourself up and say, okay,
Yeah, you have to restrain yourself from.
Yes. So every action, every whole action every day, whole day long, somebody phone, somebody this, that, whatever, you have to really work on yourself. Which mode are you in? How are you going to answer? What action you're going to do? You're going to get the reaction to everything you do till you come to a point when you're doing things for Krishna only. So that is what I understand.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. There's different angles and different ways to look at it. Yeah, but specifically, as far as I can remember, as far as I would say is that because if we don't understand this chapter, then we're not going to understand anything else. And unless we can be somewhat free from the pushings of the material energy, then it's highly unlikely that we're really going to enter into a really thorough understanding of the other subjects, especially of devotional service itself. And if we think about it, that's one of the first things when we come to Krishna consciousness. One of the first things we're taught by the devotees, apart from chanting Hare Krishna and eating as much prasadam as possible, and the first thing we're taught is how to be in a mode of goodness. Yeah. Wake up in the morning, take bath, take shower, be regulated in your habits, etc., etc. It's the lifestyle of the mode of goodness. That's the first challenge. Yeah. Especially coming directly from coming directly from gross material life, then to eat the right things, to be regulated, and then over and above that to offer one's food and etc., etc. And then when we take initiation, then actually when we make these 4 vows, we're actually vowing to be in a mode of goodness. That's what one of you could say. We're actually making strong sankalpas to keep ourselves in a sanguine state, which is a mode of goodness. Because unless we can do that, then we're not going to make much progress in our spiritual development. So that's why it said here, the knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other. Oh, that's iPhone 2.
Nitamata.
It's Nitai Mata. Should have guessed. Hare Krishna.
I think we were put to the test yesterday with our modes.
Really?
Oh,
I thought it
I
was
think with all the people and all the
Hare Krishna,
pushing
Prabhu.
and I think, yeah.
yeah, when
I was
Rath Yatra yesterday, if anyone didn't know, just another
Yeah.
Buddha's just there. Yeah.
It was beautiful,
Rath
but
Yatra.
it was just the amount of people and obviously people who don't understand pushing
Hare
and
Krishna,
shoving.
Prabhu.
All right. I thought it was quite.
Bob. WhatsApp audio.
Could devotees who are not speaking, if they could mute.
Hare-
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu, I was thinking,
Yes, Nova Padma.
can I?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was thinking, what I felt is really telling us what is binding to this world. If you're in ignorance and even you don't want to come up, if you don't want to understand, so that means you can be here.
Yeah, that.
Because it's giving very right examples and points. Here, what you're doing here is this, and this is what you want to be, and you have to be. You
Yeah,
have
your
to
voice.
be on it now if you really want to get out of this place, because
Yeah.
these are the modes that you will get bind into this world.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Your voice is coming and going a bit, but I think we got the essence, and that's as we described, to be kind of educated in the modes and to avoid the low modes, especially as you mentioned the mode of ignorance, because the mode of ignorance, you don't give a damn about anything. You don't care. You're not bothered about anything or anyone. You can't be, And there's and also it mentions here great sages, where it said here. Yeah, right at the end there. Yeah, here. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attain perfection, and transferred to the spiritual world. Yeah. So this will be, this living is also correct living or understanding the modes and living in a mode of goodness. It's also a sadhana, even for those who are not aiming for Krishna, for Goloka Vrindavan, or those who are even aiming for Brahman, dare I say. So they have yama and niyama in Patanjali's yoga system. Part of that system is correct behavior in the world, which is basically promulgating the mode of goodness. So all great sages know that if they want to make advancement, then there is a mode called the mode of ignorance and the mode of passion, which is going to cause them bondage. So they take bath every day. They are very regulated. They make vows never to speak a lie, never to put anyone into any mental distress. They make vows to, etc., to eat food, only eat fruit after. So many different vows they make, just so they can be in a state of equilibrium to the material world. Yeah. And that's one good.
I would just want to ask you,
Please.
here are the philosophical speculation. it can be taken as realization, because you realize that this is not right, this is not the way I should do. This is so that's a kind of realization. So it's not a speculation as the word stands, because it is philosophical speculation. Is
Yeah.
it correct?
I think you might have joined us a little bit later because Chandravali did ask that question in the beginning. So yeah, so philosophical speculation means that we discuss scripture and we come to conclusions based on our reading and the study of scripture. Yeah, so
Okay.
it doesn't mean an atheistic type of speculation about the absolute truth, because you cannot understand unless you go through Veda. You just cannot understand. Yes. So exciting chapter to read. Huh? Any other questions on this before we inch forward into text 2? Yeah, I was saying I want to finish that point. That's one good way, because when we go to India, you are going to see different sadhus on the street, etc. Isn't it? Well, sometimes in Govardhan, there's all types of sadhus who are now. I might, from my course, I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong, but those sadhus that are clean, those sadhus that don't have wild, disheveled, mad hair, and are not muttering to themselves, and are not, obviously you can see, with all due respect, I mean, I don't know, okay, let's not speak about the holy Dham Vrindavan, but in other holy places where some sadhus obviously look to be in the lower modes of nature, they just resemble the tramps on London streets. But then you see sadhus who are very, and you see sadhus, and these sadhus generally keep out of the public eye. But you're going to meet sadhus who actually, I think Prabhupada said, Sringavacha was quoting Prabhupada, who he was in one place and he saw this yogi, this sadhu, and he was by I think by the Jamuna, and he had this water pot, I think it was brass, and it was shining like gold. So in other words, he was cleaning his pot, he was cleaning his pot, and Prabhupada said, "You see this pot? You see it is just like it's just like his heart. Because his heart is pure, then he keeps it very clean." You understand the point I'm making? So here he was a sadhu who actually understands these principles. In order for you to elevate your consciousness, you have to live in a certain environment, a certain state. That reminds me, I'm going, sorry to bring up this bit of a mundane thing, speaking about homeless people and sadhus. Yesterday, we walked past this homeless person near the temple, and he's got a tent and the whole thing. He's got a pet. He's got, they've all got dogs and living in a tent with them. It's got a whole thing. But he had a bucket and he was washing his clothes and hanging it on the line. I thought, wow. We was thinking to go back and tell him, well done, you're on the right path. So he was, anyway, Hare Krishna, but I don't think he was a sadhu. All right. Okay, let's just read the verse again, and then we'll go on to text 2. The Supreme Person of Godhead said, again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom. Okay, so he's saying something which is spoken before, but as Mother Mohini Gopika said, but in a different way. The best of all knowledge, knowing which all sages have attained the supreme perfection. Okay, it's chapter 14. Okay, unless there's any further comments or questions, we can go into text 2. Any readers out there?
I can read.
Go ahead. Thank you, Bhagavad.
Idam gnanamupasritya mama sadharmaya gata sarge api nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. Translation: by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Purport. After acquiring perfect transcendental knowledge, one acquires qualitative equality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, becoming free from the repetition of birth and death. One does not, however, lose his identity as an individual soul. It is understood from Vedic literature that the liberated soul who have reached the transcendental planets of the spiritual sky always look to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, being engaged in his transcendental loving service. So even after liberation, the devotees do not lose their individual identities. Generally, in the material world, whatever knowledge we get is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Knowledge which is not contaminated by the three modes of nature is called transcendental knowledge. As soon as one is situated in that transcendental knowledge, he is on the same platform as the Supreme Person. Those who have no knowledge of the spiritual sky hold that after being freed from the material activities of material form, the spiritual identity becomes formless, without any variegatedness. However, just as there is material variegatedness in the world, in the spiritual world, there is also variegatedness. Those in the ignorance of this think that spiritual existence is opposed to material variety. But actually, in the spiritual sky, one attains a spiritual form. There are spiritual activities, and spiritual situation is called devotional life. That atmosphere is said to be uncontaminated, and there one is equal in quality with the Supreme Lord. To obtain such knowledge, one must develop all the spiritual qualities. One who thus develops the spiritual qualities is not affected either by the creation or by the destruction of the material world.
Okay,
Thank you.
Any curiosities, any questions? I was just thinking the Bhagavad Gita could be it could you could say the Bhagavad Gita, the whole thing is against impersonalism. The whole Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is just to defeat the impersonalist theory. I mean, Prabhupada he uses every opportunity, isn't it? Every opportunity he uses to make it very clear what the absolute is. It is personal, it's not impersonal. Perhaps it might be interesting to count how many times Prabhupada speaks against the impersonalist philosophy in the Bhagavad Gita. I think it must be a few thousand. Right, it's intriguing that there is impersonalists who actually give commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Did Shankaracharya give a commentary on Gita? Bhagavad Kishore, do you know?
I don't know.
Did he? I know he definitely didn't give a commentary, and he's definitely didn't give his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes Shankaracharya, isn't it? He writes a beautiful poem about the Bhagavad Gita. We won't go into it now; it might take too long to find, but it's there in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. You know. So Prabhupada again, he's making sure that we thoroughly understand this, because the verse is speaking about attaining the transcendental. And the reason why, because someone who's a Sanskritist and of the impersonalist school, they will quite easily go into explaining this verse in an impersonal way. Because it says here, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. So you can become Brahman. You can also obtain that Brahman. That like you become Brahman. And once you become Brahman, then you're never born again. Once you become one, then you will never be born again. So you can see how they might twist out. So Prabhupada's in his purport, he's making it very clear that this is not impersonal. That's being spoken about. And Prabhupada here as well, I'll just highlight here, this here. Those who have no knowledge of the spiritual sky hold that after being freed from material activities on a material form, this spiritual identity being formless without any variegatedness. Yeah, Prabhupada mentions this elsewhere. What's the way? It's kind of I forget. There's a word for it might come to mind in a minute, but because variety is a cause of so much duality, and thereof often so much distress. Just interacting with things, just interacting with people, is the cause of a lot of distress that people want to get away from. Yeah, and sometimes sometimes we may even feel that sometimes, but definitely some people want to go on a holiday where they don't want to see anyone. That's a holiday for them. I don't want to see anyone. We used to do that on traveling Sankirtan, I have to admit, because we'd be on the street like 8 hours a day, on the shopping street, 8 hours a day, like 6, 7 days a week. And on Sunday, we would make it a point to drive into a field where we didn't see anyone and spend the whole of Sunday just 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 in a big open field where we didn't have to come anywhere near a high street. But anyway, back to the point here is that this is what people thus wrongly conclude, that the absolute must be nothing. There must be no people. There must be no houses. There must be no activity. Surely. So that's why it is, when it's presented in a flowery way, it can be quite attractive to people. Yeah, there can't be anything, and the absolute world or the absolute truth, if there is one, cannot be anything like what we're experiencing here, which is true, but they take it further. It can't, there can't be any persons. There can't be any people. How can how can the spiritual world have any people? But as we know, we are being, as Prabhupada says, no, there are people, there are houses, but the nature is completely different. The nature is completely transcendental, completely pure. And at the beginning of the purple, Prabhupada says that here, that one acquires a qualitative equality with the Supreme. Yeah. So one acquires a qualitative, so not quantitative, qualitative. You heard that example? Just like if you take a drop of water, it has all the
Quality
qualities, but
water, but not quantity.
Yeah. So we can so we attain, so there's people there, and as we know, there's millions of people. There's more people there than there is here.
Oh.
But they're of a different nature. They're all completely pure, and they're all completely attracted to Krishna, and they have no selfish desires. All their desires are directed towards the pleasure of the transcendental couple, or Lord Narayan, wherever it may be, if you're in Vaikuntha. And there is no influence of the modes of material nature at all. Actually, I read a statement. Where did I read that statement? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the residents of the spiritual world don't even know the material world exists. Yeah, let alone desire anything. Let alone desire anything like people do in the material world. They're not even aware that it exists. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that in the Jaividharma. So, Ravi, if you go back to Godhead, then you won't be contemplating a big house in the country somewhere.
So you know where it says, so even after liberation, the devotees do not lose their individual identities. Is that meaning our material identities? Because we have material identities here. But if you're liberated and you go to the spiritual realm, which identity are we taking with us?
Where are you reading, Mother? Just so I can get.
So just on the top. So even after liberation,
First
down, a little bit down.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So even after the devotees do not lose their individual identities. So I'm just thinking, I wasn't quite sure. So if you're liberated and you go to the spiritual world, you take your individual identities with you?
Yeah, but you take your pure cleansed and pure individual identity. Yeah.
Okay.
You will leave behind your material subtle body even. But
Yeah.
you still exist as a jiva. That's the point here. You're still Mama Jiva. Yeah. Mama Eva. What's that? Mama we are all parts and parcel. Because so you do not, that is not extinguished. But
Okay.
you're there in your pure form. Yeah, you become purified of material attachment. You become purified of your material subtle body. Yeah. So even after, so that's because again the impersonalist, their concept is liberation means you lose your individual identity.
Mm-hmm.
And Prabhupada, he's actually paraphrasing a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a verse that specifically states that the real identity of the jiva is beyond the gross and physical body. Then a jiva has a real identity. Yes, jiva is a jiva, and he has an identity beyond the gross and subtle body. There's one verse, quite a well commented upon verse in Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada's quoting that. Prabhupada's also quoting another verse here. See if any of our pujaris know this verse. You see what I'm highlighting here? It is understood from Vedic literature that liberated souls who reach the transcendental planets of the spiritual sky always looked at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Any pujaris here? No, there's a verse that we chant when we've done Achman. You know, on the verse, Achman, where we do Achman in the pujari, and then there's a verse that comes after that. Putting you on the spot now. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padagam Sada Pasyanti Suraya Diviva Chakshravatatam Tappipasu Banyavaho Chakrivasa Samindate Vishnuya Paramam Padam. Papa's paraphrasing that verse here. Yeah. Because they see that abode, also in that verse, they can also enlighten others about that abode. Yeah, they've reached that transcendental planet of the spiritual sky. Always look to the lotus feet of the Lord. So that's that verse. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam. So Prabhupada is paraphrasing that here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, again, to Mother Mohini Gopika's question, just seen here, that atmosphere is said to be uncontaminated. And there one is equal in quality. Actually, one place Prabhupada says, he says, what is this becoming one with Krishna? We don't say become one with Krishna. We say you can be more than Krishna. You can be greater than Krishna. So he's speaking about Mother Yasoda, who has, she's tells Krishna what to do and cowherd boys and the pastimes in the spiritual world. Then Krishna likes that exchange to be considered subordinate. So what is his oneness? We are telling people to become more than God. Wonderful, right? Of course, they don't understand that. Yeah. All right. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Yeah.
I was thinking about this.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever knowledge we get is contaminated by the three modes of material nature.
Yeah.
I was just thinking how, Prabhupada says, I think I feel, I did. And Prabhupada said, what do you think? You don't even know anything, you know. It's like what we read, what we hear is what
Yeah.
the knowledge we hear, say even on the news, right? And I don't really watch much, but the thing is that the person who's giving you that knowledge, depending on what mode that person is, he's telling you according to how he feels, how he understands. So you're not getting proper
No.
understanding, proper knowledge, you know?
Yeah.
You're working. So, especially like, you know, when this India plane crashed, I got into so involved because, yeah, right, you know.
So you went down a rabbit hole with it.
I kind of watch, and then you just sit back and you think, this person saying this, that person, you have to really completely close it.
Detach from it.
Yeah, you have to really, it's like that with everything, you know, because they just then get into your mind and tell you what they feel.
Mm.
You have to
The blame game as well.
Yeah.
switch off. You just say, okay, even when you put like on YouTube or something, not going there, not going there, you know, you have to be really like not going there, you know. So that's what I was trying to understand from that we have to be so careful when we hear somebody, even devotees who sometimes are giving classes, and then they can be telling you about how they feel, how they understand sometimes. So
But yeah, I mean, that's good. That's what we're supposed to, they're supposed to, you know, that's one of the things about hearing class from devotees is they present their realizations. It can be very interesting because everyone has their own personal kind of grasp of, although we have, it's not always different, but devotees will explain it from different angles of vision. It's very interesting to hear. So that's not,
no, that's not, but sometimes when you hear some devotees are telling you something, it really clicks. You think, oh, I didn't think of it like that, you know.
yeah, and that's what makes it interesting. Different devotees, different perspective. But your first point, yeah, that was that every philosophy is every philosophy is from the material world by a materialist about the material world. Communism or thisism or thatism, it's all contaminated. It's all symptomatic of the modes of material nature. It is not transcendent. It is not coming from a purushaya. It's not coming. It is not shabda. It's completely, yeah. It's contaminated by the modes. Yeah. It's all, of course, they might say we're quite proud, saying no, it's right because it's all coming from their own. It's coming from because they're influenced by the modes. So their particular philosophy, whatever it is, and there is hundreds out there, hundreds of philosophies out there, all based, as Robert Chandravali is saying, all based on their specific conditioned nature. So it's contaminated by the modes. So it's contaminated by the modes of nature. So you're going to some knowledge in the mode of ignorance, some knowledge in the mode of passion, and even some knowledge in the mode of goodness. Yeah, yeah, because all right. Let's have a peek into 14.3.
Shall I give it a go?
Yeah, have a go at this. Oh, this is a well-known verse as well.
Really? I will just say it.
Hmm.
Yone Mahat Brahma Tasma Garbham Dadami Aham Sambhava Bhav Sarvabhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata.
So just to add, so what Krishna has explained, he's going right now. He's going to start right from the beginning. Before he's going to detail the three modes, he's going to explain how the whole of creation came about. Yeah, he's taking it right back, and he's going to build up the the binding of the conditioned soul in this material world. So he's first speaking about how it all started. Yeah. Carry on, love.
Translation. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharat. Purport. This is an explanation of the world. Everything that takes place is due to contamination of Kshetra,
Combination.
combination of Kshetra and Kshetragyan, the body and the spirit soul.
That we read in last chapter, yeah?
This combination of material nature and the living entity is made possible by the Supreme God Himself. The Mahat Tattva is the total cause of the total cosmic manifestation, and that total substance of the material cause is which there are three modes of nature. It's sometimes called Brahman. The Supreme Personality impregnates that total substance, and thus innumerable universes become possible. This total material substance, the Mahatattva, is described as Brahman in the Vedic literature, Mukunda Upanishad 119. Tasmad etad Brahman nama rupam anam cha jayati. The Supreme Person impregnates that Brahman with the seed of the living entities. The 24 elements beginning from earth, water, fire, and air are all material energies, and they constitute what is called Mahad Brahma, of the great Brahman, the material nature. As explained in the 7th chapter, beyond this, there is another superior nature, the living entity. Into material nature, the supreme nature is mixed by the will of the Supreme Person of Godhead, and thereafter all living entities are born of this material nature. The scorpion lays its eggs in a pile of rice, and sometimes it is said that the scorpion is born out of rice, but the rice is not the cause of the scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother. Similarly, material nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entities. The seed is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as products of material nature. Thus, every living entity, according to his past activities, has a different body created by this material nature, so that the entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. The Lord is the cause of all manifestation of living entities in this material world.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you. Any observations or comments, questions?
He says the whole picture comes into your mind, how Lord Vishnu is glancing and through her Lord Shiva and all that creation.
Yes.
How the living entities are put in their places.
Yeah, it's described a good few times in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, and also in Chaitanya Ratamrita, in teachings to Sanatana Goswami as well, about the whole of creation, how it takes place. But important point Prabhupada is bringing out here, or the verses explain that Krishna is behind it. Is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings? It's quite phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, we have all the just to meditate upon it. I'm kind of, we kind of take it for granted, but we're quite impressed with electrical gadgets, isn't it? And what they can do, or at least we're led to be enamored by what they can do. But actually, the most amazing thing is that people take birth. The whole thing, and it's quite incredible.
With perfection.
Yeah, we take it for granted. Where I stay, my ashram is right next to a hospital, and it's right next to a maternity ward. So I see lots of pregnant ladies going in, and I see lots of quite a few ladies coming out with a new baby. The car pulls up and all the family is excited. The lady's got a baby in her arms. She's going to be in the car. But the whole fact that, the point that holds, the whole fact that, a living being actually grows inside another living being. I mean, could they come anywhere near doing anything like that? Could they, get two iPhones and leave them alone one night?
And you get a third one.
And then one iPhone is pregnant. Gives birth to another iPhone. That would be incredible. But they can't do that. They can't come in. Can they possibly do that? No.
I don't know what's possible because you see these robots
Okay,
now.
let's okay, AI. Well, let's see how they go. But actually, no, it's not possible. But it's going on. It's something that's really phenomenal is going on in front of us, right under our nose, and to say there's no cause behind it, to say there's no intelligence behind it, is just not intelligent. So Krishna is behind the whole thing. That's what Krishna, yeah. He is impregnating the jivas into Mahatattva. Yeah. And then from Mahatattva, then it expands. Yeah.
I like the example of the scorpion and the egg.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Can
the
you
light.
explain it in your own words? I always hear this and I can't quite grasp it. I mean, I've got some.
the mother lays the eggs in the rice, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like it's the scorpions are born of rice. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, like you look
Oh.
at, like you've seen sometimes when you get old rice or something, you see little bits like joined together, furry things, and you think, oh, I did that. But it's the insects have already put something there, and that's how
Yeah.
it come up. And you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that's it. So like, yeah, arti time. Bhagavad Nanda ki jai.
yes.
Arti.
Krishna.
Right. So yeah, so it seems like with what so yeah, good point. It's kind of helped me to understand it more. So just I gave the example of, the maternity ward. It seems like the children are coming from after impregnation from the father. But no, there's something more than that. Just like if we may think scorpion comes from the rice. No. Actually, the jiva doesn't. The jiva wasn't created by the father.
Mm.
The jiva is created by the Supreme Lord. It's part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And it's not just coming. We shouldn't think that before the impregnation there is no such thing as the jiva. No, the jiva is eternal.
Yeah, Prabhupada explains somewhere, doesn't it? There is two bits, and then how they get together and they join to become this living entity.
Yeah. There's a whole. It's explained that. Yeah, that's in Canto 3, Teachings of Lord Kapila. He describes the whole creation, or not because the jiva is not created, but the whole sojourn of the jiva into particular wombs. So yeah, so it's going on by the potency of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, and that's how everything goes on in this material world. He is behind it. Yeah, as Prabhupada says here again, the Lord is the cause of all manifestations of living entities in the material world. So he's the cause. It is not Mother and Father. And he is their ultimate cause. Yeah.
So, this bit where it says the entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. Past deeds meaning just the past life, but the past deeds meaning however many lives the jiva has had. It's all kind of like looked at by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus he gives the next body.
Yeah, Purusha Pakuti Stohe, Punkti Pakuti Jangunam. Prabhupada, as far as I can see, is quoting from a verse that due to Sangha, due to association, and then due to association, one acts in a certain way, one does certain deeds, then that will then give rise to certain
type of body.
Certain type reactions and certain type of body. Yeah, so in one sense we understand it's the law of karma.
Right.
But it's very so the material is it's a very intricate place. What you put into it, that's what you get out of it. You know, how you interact with the material universe is that's that's what you get out of it. So yeah, so
And we're shaping our next body according to the way we are now,
yep,
how we interact with the material.
yeah, it's correct. So hopefully by reading Bhagavad Gita together, we're creating something spiritual.
Yes.
We're building up a spiritual body, hopefully.
Mm.
Yeah. It's just examples given. If you see a caterpillar
Mm.
and you see it climbing from one leaf to the next. So before it, it doesn't jump, it crawls over, and then so we are already creating a next body by the activities that we do, just like a caterpillar changing from one leaf to the next. It's already in motion.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And that's why it's interesting as well. See, everyone has different features, different shaped nose, different shaped eyes, and different mental proclivities and different standards of living. It's all variegated because we're all individuals and we've all interacted with the material world in a certain way to get a specific result.
Yeah, I always find that really interesting because sometimes only when you're sitting on the tube and you think everyone is different. You know,
Yeah.
we're all humans, but everyone is there's just nobody who's got the same features
Yeah.
or look identical. It's
Yeah.
like your thumbprint is so many thumbprints, but they're all different.
And even if you visit a colony of ants and you get to know them, they will all be different. They will all be different personalities.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
even the insects, they've all got different thumbprints. You know, it's phenomenal. That's because everyone's interacting with the three modes of material nature. This the whole chapter is, and so by the way they interact with three modes, then it combines in unlimited ways. Just like like the three primary colors. What's the three primary colors? Green.
White, red, and green, is it?
Yeah, yeah. If you mix them, there's an unlimited variety of colors and shades that you can produce from the primary colors. So the three modes of material nature, unlimited varieties of species of life and different situations, and yeah, and
Unexplained.
yeah, and who can manage all of that? That's God.
Krishna.
That's Krishna. It's going on by his potency.
I was just thinking, well, realized it. The other day I was thinking that we were back home and just because of being envious to Krishna, then you come to this material world and you've been here so long that you're so totally contaminated.
Yeah.
Now, the conditioning is so deep rooted that it's so the process is correct. We have to follow the process, but it's so hard to really get this conditioning out,
Yeah.
Pops up here, pops up there, our conditioning. And then I was thinking, Krishna, what you gave me the minute independence. Why did you at that time when I was envy, why did you just take the envy away? So then I didn't have to come all the way down here and be around for so long, and trying to get back home now. And it's really hard, really hard.
I think Devi Hi Esha Gunamayi is very difficult to overcome. But at the same time, we shouldn't underestimate the power of the holy name. Don't underestimate the power of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his causeless mercy.
Yeah.
Possible, yeah. But it takes the whole, to be free from our conditioning, it takes the whole culture of practice. There's association of devotees, there's a hearing, Nasta Purishu Bhadreshu. There's a whole lifestyle goes with it to help us get free from our conditioned nature. But yeah, there is a challenge, but it's the best challenge we could possibly do. What's the point of taking up any challenges for any material position, which is going to be taken away at the time of death? Let's you know, we can say, let's take life by the horns. You know, let's really take life and really take it seriously to develop as to make progress in Krishna consciousness. It's the only thing that's ultimately worth making an effort for.
Mm.
Any effort for any other,
Useless.
yeah, it's useless. It's scripture shrama eva kevalam, simply waste of time. So yeah, it's difficult. Was it Prabhupada said? Spiritual life may be difficult, I don't, or but material life is impossible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Possible. Okay, should we pause there?
I had a quick question.
Yeah,
Is
please.
anybody late? I was just thinking on the same thing that we were just talking. You know, when, like, say how I am, I'm living on my own and now, you know, got everything the way I want it and has to be clean, has to be this, that. So then I was thinking how Sudama Brahman was attached to being poor, right? And there's
Go on.
another.
I don't know if he's attached to being poor. It's just circumstantially
No, I mean, not attached, but like he, what can you say? Not proud, not attached, but he was happy being,
Humble.
no, poor.
Poor.
yeah, he was a Brahmin, so like he was satisfied with his lot. He was self-satisfied.
So anyway, I was just thinking, when you're in a comfortable situation, oh yes, my flat, nice, very clean, I'm on my own, nice peaceful, I can do this. Does that mean that you're getting attached to that kind of living?
Yeah, that means that's
Yeah.
the biggest danger for devotees is the mode of goodness,
Yeah.
where you got it set, man. No, then there's no push.
Yeah.
You can be lackadaisical. You know, you got the central heating, you got whatever,
Yeah.
got that, you got the comfort, and that's why the mode of goodness is often the biggest trap for devotees.
Wow.
They don't want to push. They don't want to push to get out this. They don't.
You got it just the way you want it.
Yeah, there's no pushing for bhava. There's no pushing, you know, because so we have to be careful that we don't get enamored by the mode of goodness,
Wow.
because the mode of goodness is also a bind, and they come back again. So yeah, we should live in you know, we shouldn't live on the street, or we want to live in a place where we're not unduly agitated by the basic material needs, but look out for the mode of goodness.
But isn't it that you do that so you can do your bhakti nicely, you know, like on this you know, you're not interrupted, or you know, you're not swaying, you know, when you're on your own and you've got it comfortable. Isn't that sort of like beneficial for your bhakti?
Yeah, that's what it should be, but it shouldn't be beneficial for being attached to the mode of goodness. Remember what happened to Narada Muni?
Yeah, that was another
yeah,
example. I was going to give you Narad Muni, yes.
And he didn't Krishna said you will not see me again, because he was very much enamored and forest, etc. So we have to look out. That's why if we got this situation, yeah, but we shouldn't give up Shravanam Kirtanam. We should use that situation in order to do as much hearing and chanting about Krishna as possible, and then it won't be a problem. But if we get so comfortable in this material world and we get quite, well, it's not so bad. No, it's bad.
No, it's bad, but it's just don't want to get attached to being comfortable like that in this material world.
But, well, no, don't worry, it won't last. Whatever comfortable position we got, then
Because we're still getting old, aren't we?
Krishna's going to shake it up at some point.
That's the worry. That's the worry.
Yeah, just have a good look at your nice flats, your nice houses, and just realize that you can't stay there. So you're gonna be
that's
the move. All right.
Hare Krishna.
Let's pause there, and hopefully Wednesday, if any devotees interested, available, we'll do Brihat Bhagavatamrita. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Wonderful discussion.
Yes.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhu ki
Jai.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for
Krishna.
everything.
Prabhu ki.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.